know that we cannot achieve a continuous success without needing to carry all stakeholders along. Let me again especially appreciate our committed health workers and our frontline COVID-19 personnel whose hard work, dedication, and sacrifice have helped us thus far. We are indeed proud of their great service to the state. I'm sure you're all aware that I dedicated our first anniversary in government to the gallantry health workers by symbolically decorating representative of each of the various health units on the May 29th, which was a gesture that we felt that it was appropriate, it was needed, and it was just to show our own appreciation to all of these frontline health workers. Dear Lagosians, we have completed an extended first phase, and now we're entering a second phase of our easing of the lockdown in line with the Presidential Task Force and the NCDC protocols on ease of lockdown. I'm sure we're all aware that on Monday, June the 1st, the PTF released a set of guidelines to further ease the lockdown. As has been the practice, the PTF allowed the state governments to build on the foundational guidelines issued and to adopt them to existing local contexts. In the light of this, here are some other guidelines that will be observed and implemented in Lagos State until further notice. Like has been mentioned, there's a nationwide curfew which will continue to remain in place, has been modified from the hours of 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. every day. And that the financial service sector, the banks are now have been allowed to open fully, and their working days will remain Mondays to Friday. We have now granted offices and private businesses, of course excluding the prohibited ones who we will mention, all of our organized private sector and manufacturing concerns will now operate and open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the evening. There is, however, a strategy which we want to ensure that will encourage them to also have to run shifts and other flexible working hours within their facility. And one of the things that will happen is if you are running shifts, you also must have guidelines around ensuring that they keep within the premises and have means of transportation for this staff. As regards the public service, we're asking all of our public officers on grade level 13 and 14 on the Unified Public Service to resume work from Monday, June 8th, 2020. We're still holding back on grade levels 1 to 12 till further notice. Manufacturing businesses, like I said, are being permitted to operate overnight shifts, and provided they ensure that they keep the staff and their premises during this duration, and they guarantee transportation and safety for their staff and during this time. There will also now be a restricted opening of religious houses based on compliance that we have seen and we have reviewed both with the Safety Commission, and I will explain what all of that would mean very shortly. Hotels and other hospitality businesses are now allowed also to be open. Restaurants outside hotels are permitted to open for takeaway services only. There still shall not be any in-dining activity. Non-essential interstate travel will remain prohibitive. You can still not do cross-state journeys. We have, like we did mention, our portal on the register to open, which has been launched by our Safety Commission. I will be rolling out the website very shortly. But our gyms, our nightclubs, spas, cinemas will still remain closed for the next 2 weeks at the first instance. In 2 weeks' time, we will have reviewed their own protocol again, and we'll tell you when exactly we feel they can open. All of these eased restriction and permitted opening must be accompanied by standard prevention and control measure of typical physical distancing, mandatory temperature checks, and use of face masks in public places regular disinfection of premises, and strong personal hygiene. In line with my promise that I made 2 weeks ago, we set up a committee that is chaired by the Honorable Commissioner for Special Duties, where we've drawn guidelines for reopening, and that committee has been working with Lagos State Safety Commission and Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency. As we all know, mass gathering during COVID-19 pandemic can be of serious public health consequences, and there are documented evidence that mass gathering can increase the spread of this virus. And that's why we will, from 14 days' time, precisely from the 19th of June for our Muslim worshippers, and from the 21st of June for our Christian worshippers, we'll be allowing all of our religious bodies to open at a maximum of 40% of their capacity, maximum of 40% of their capacity, and we will be working with them as being expected with the Lagos State Safety Commission. But we know that these places of worship have different sizes. But even if your 40% capacity is really so large, you cannot have beyond 500. And keeping that 40% maximum capacity, it's really, really so important, right? And no matter how big your place of worship might be, you cannot have more than 500 worshippers at once. We'll be encouraging people to have more than one service and to ensure that they keep their premises clean, disinfect before another round of worship can take place. We will also be advising that there should only be mandatory Fridays and Sunday services. All other night vigils and other regular services must be put on hold for now until we review our current situation. We will also be advising very, very strongly that persons below the age of 15, because of how well they walk around and how they become difficult to hold down, that they should be excused from the places of worship, and citizens that are above the age of 65. Citizens that are above the age of 65 should not be allowed into these places of worship. I think these are very, very, very important.